The following program is made possible with the support of Papa John's Pizza. Better ingredients, better pizza. With 5 locations in the Wilmington area, Papa John's Pizza. Better ingredients. Always had them, always will. Wilmington International Airport. Committed to a relaxed, enjoyable flying experience. Now offering daily nonstop flights to Charlotte, New York, and Philadelphia with American Airlines, and Atlanta with Delta. Details at flyilm.com. Ruby Tuesday at Monkey Junction, featuring uncompromising freshness and quality and gracious hospitality. Ruby Tuesday at Monkey Junction, the perfect place for your next casual dining experience. And PortCityDaily.com. You can do without the paper, but you can't do without the news. PortCityDaily.com is your online local news source for Wilmington and the surrounding Cape Fear region.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to another fresh edition of the Sports Roundtable, heading through week 4 into week 5 now of the high school football season. I'm Joe Katz from PortCityDaily.com, where you can find free online news and information and sports information across the Wilmington area. Each week here on Sports Roundtable, we talk with the 4 football coaches from across New Hanover County. This week, a couple of teams with byes. New Hanover and Ashley had their bye week in week 4. We'll get to some of the highlights real quick before we are joined by our first guests this evening. Just 2 games in New Hanover County last Friday night. Laney picked up their first win of the season, 27-6 over Northern Nash, in a game that took 2 days to play. Began on Thursday, continued into Friday night because of weather delays. The Bucks, with a big second half, pick up their first victory of the year. Trayvon Green hit Ryan Williams for a touchdown. Amik Watkins, Jemias Beckett also found the end zone on the ground as well. Charlotte Christian defeated Hoggard out in the Queen City, 27-10. The Vikings trailed at the half, were able to get within striking distance. A couple of turnovers late cost the Vikings as they fall to a good Charlotte Christian team. With that said, as I just mentioned, New Hanover and Ashley with bye weeks heading into a couple of big games in New Hanover County coming up on Friday night. Joining us, our guests today, instead of Coach Earl Smith, we are joined by 2 of New Hanover Wildcats' finest in quarterback Burke Estes and safety Ronnie Beatty. And Ronnie, Burke, welcome to the Sports Roundtable. It's good to have you here.
Thank you.
Fellas, you're coming off a bye week and off week. You have a new coach in Coach Earl Smith after being led by Kevin Motzinger for the last few seasons. You're both seniors now on the New Hanover Wildcats, have taken over a leadership role for this program. We'll start with you, Ronnie, I guess, since you're the talkative guy from what I've heard. Ronnie, why don't you tell the listeners and the viewers just a little bit about your experiences at New Hanover on the football program for the last couple of seasons.
Well, after being kicked off the team my freshman year, due to some very childish things, I started growing up and taking football more seriously. And Coach Mott really showed me what it is to work hard. And I basically took football to heart. And now that Coach Smith, it kind of hit me hard when Coach Smith came in and Coach Mott left. But I've grown to believe in Coach Smith, and I'm locked in and I'm all in. And that's what it takes. A lot of teams don't be all in all the time, and that's what it takes to be a great football team. Coach Smith has instilled that into us.
Well, with that said, obviously you've done a lot of growing up over these last 3 years, and now to have a leadership role on this program as, the head of the defense, that must say something about your character on how you've been able to grow up over these last couple of seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've grown up a little bit over these last 3 seasons, huh?
Yeah, I had to,
Burke, quarterback, you've been behind Ward Coleman for the last 3 years. You're finally under center. You've done a great job. I got some updated stats for you through 3 games this season. 59 of 82 pass completions, a 72% completion percentage, 610 yards through the air so far this season. Couple of touchdowns, couple of interceptions. How does it feel first to finally be the head of the captain in the huddle each week for the Wildcats?
Well, it feels good. I've been able to learn a lot behind Ward Coleman, and he set almost all of our records. And so I got to learn behind somebody who knew what he was doing and could sling it around. And so now I finally get behind a really solid O-line, have some weapons. So I just get it in their hands and let them work.
Well, on the offensive side, you're one of the only new pieces, I guess, to that unit as they return pretty much all of their starters. So serving as the backup and now getting some first-team reps here. And, you got plenty of experience last year, some playing time as well. But you can sling it around the yard just as much as Ward did last year.
Yes, sir. We split time in practice 50-50 last year, and so I got to work with the ones half the time, and so that really helped me grow up as a quarterback. I got to make all the reads against first-team defense, and playing against our defense last year, I mean, just as good as any, so it kind of helped me grow up and learn what I was doing.
One of the big things, I think, you have a ton of talent in those skill positions. Garrett Walston being a good friend of yours, obviously. University of Georgia commit, some running backs, Traquan Age, another guy that can catch it and run it. So having some skill players around you make your job a little easier.
No doubt. Our receiving core is very good. Like I say, our screens go for 40 yards. That helps my stats a lot. I don't have to do much. Just get it in their hands and let them work.
Ronnie, on the defensive end, you start the season 2-0. Tough loss to a good Havelock team. You get the week off. What's been the message from Coach Smith and the rest of the coaching staff through the bye week and now as you gear up for a good Scotland team coming up on Friday?
Stay focused. Focus, know what's the task ahead and what's the stakes. We can shot the state with the win, as we could have with Havelock, but things didn't work out in our favor, and we didn't really have a good week in practice. It all starts in practice, as I was talking to Coach Smith. If you have a great week in practice and everybody is focused, then good things will probably happen.
You start the season off 2-0 and maybe you got a little ahead of yourselves going into that matchup in Havelock. Not saying that you just threw the pads out on the field, but did you get a check, take one on the chin and get refocused there after that loss?
Well, it was definitely a reality check to myself, and I know it was a reality check to others. That taught us to never put our heads down, and that's what led to more touchdowns, the defense putting their heads down.
Burke, finally, as we wrap up the segment, you get shut out against a Havelock team after putting up some big points over the first 2 weeks of the season. On the offensive end, obviously some adjustments to make heading through the week of practice.
Yes, sir. There's no doubt they were a great defense, and we knew that going in, and we were actually able to move it. We just couldn't put it in the end zone. We got in the red zone, I think, 5 or 6 times, and just couldn't put it in, so I guess you know what we're working on in practice this week.
So obviously converting on red zone opportunities for the New Hanover offense, and on the defensive end shoring up some tackling and playing some fundamental assignment football and moving into the matchup against Scotland.
Yes, sir.
Ronnie Beatty, New Hanover Wildcats safety. Burke Estes, the Wildcat quarterback. 2 seniors on the New Hanover football program gearing up for a big matchup against Scotland County at Jurgensen Gabriel Field inside Legion Stadium on Friday night. Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure having you guys on stage, and good luck this week.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
All right, we'll take a quick break here on Sports Roundtable. Thanks again to Burke and Ronnie for joining us this segment. We'll be followed next by Laney football coach Ashad Yeoman right after this. Hey football fans, welcome back to Sports Roundtable. I'm your host Joe Katz as we take a weekly look at high school football across New Hanover County. We appreciate the Wildcats stopping by from New Hanover High School, Burke Estes and Ronnie Beatty last segment. We get to Bucktown now. Laney second year coach, Ashad Yeoman joining us now for this next segment. The Bucks come away with a 27-6 victory over Northern Nash back on Friday night, in a game that started on Thursday night, and a game that was a couple hundred miles away, so 2 road trips in as many days. Completely different football team, though, trailing 6-0 after Thursday night. The weather canceled it to Friday, and you come out and score 27 unanswered points to get your first win of the season.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. Like you said in the beginning, when we first went out there, and we went down 6-0 right before halftime, but we had a lot of opportunities to put the ball in the end zone, and we did, and we couldn't basically get out of our own way. But we faced adversity with the weather and all of that, and then we had to go right back up there. Those guys, I'm sure, were tired because we didn't get home till about 12-something in the morning. But you know what? The next day, I didn't hear any complaints about being tired. Those guys were ready to go, and they were ready to get get after it. So I'm proud
A
of
couple
the
of guys on the offensive end with some touchdowns. Amik Watkins, Jemias Beckett put it in on the ground. Trayvon Green hits Ryan Williams on a touchdown strike for you. So the offense starting to come together here as we head through the middle portion of the season already.
Yeah, it's the little things, man. That's what we trying to get fixed. With the reads and stuff like that. The plays are there. We just got to execute. And that's one of the things we ended up talking about. And we looked at some film and made some corrections throughout the day. And got it back to the team, and those guys did a great job of executing the game plan.
Well, you talk about film. We'll get to some of the film now. Some highlights from your 27-6 victory over Northern Nash. So why don't you take us through these next few set of plays for us?
Well, this is the first play of the game right here, man. The guys did a great job of setting the tone early. They struggled moving the ball on us in the first half. Well, pretty much the whole game. They got a big play on us in the second quarter that ended up setting them up for a touchdown. That's one of the things that we definitely have done a great job of, is limiting their big plays. Guys are doing a great job of flying to the ball and checking in. That's one of the things we take pride in, is getting to the football and checking in and coming with bad intentions. So we did a great job of, reading our keys and executing our alignment and assignments.
One of the guys that I think has stood out for you on the defensive end has been Dombrowski. He's been a havoc in the backfield on opposing teams' quarterbacks.
Oh, he sure has, man. He's a monster. He's a silent assassin. He doesn't really say much, man. He just gets after it. He has that intense look on his face all the time, and he just works hard, man. We got a lot of fresh young linebackers, man, coming in this year, and they've taken to our coaching and done a great job of bringing the toolbox to the game.
You're able to get some things moving here on the offensive end, as we see.
Yeah, we had a lot of dirty runs, man. I like that little word from that Coach Freeze from Ole Miss, man. A lot of dirty runs. Amik has been just tough in there. He's got that mindset of not wanting to be brought down by that first tackle, and he brought that all game long. And I'm just proud of the effort that he gave. And, that's pitch and catch right there. Solid play, trying to get the ball out of his hands quick. Get some good yardage on some of those types of deals.
Well, you got a new quarterback here in Trayvon Green this year. How has he developed over the course of the first couple of weeks of the season?
He's been doing well. We still got to work on the little things, make sure he's making the proper reads, make sure he's executing the offense in its entirety. But he's growing. He's growing every single game. And one of the things that I'm proud of is the transition from that first half into now. And in the first half, with that pitch, he struggled with it, of attacking that linebacker or that defensive end. And he did a great job in the second part of the game of attacking and pitching that ball out to Amik. And then even there with his reads, with the pass game, he's kind of sometimes second guessing himself. But when he just lets it go, man, and does exactly what we asked him to with his reads and that type of deal, he does a great job. And there it is right there again. We had that basically all game long, and we finally took advantage of it in that second half and put it in for a score that put us up. Well, actually, no, that tied the ball game up at 6-all.
So that's a big touchdown pass right
there. It was.
there.
That was the first drive, too, man. And, we set the tone. And then they came out in a double tight set in the second half, power eye, and there it is right there, man. Those guys, came to play. That was a new set that they hadn't shown all week, and we just came and fired off the ball and did a great job of executing just from, experience.
When you play there's a block punt right there for you for a touchdown.
Yep. So, again, in that second half, second drive right there, block that punt, and then we take it in for a score. Special teams has been big for us. Coach Rusk has done a great job of getting those guys coached up.
Well, that's one of those things, I think, second block punt for a touchdown you've had this season. Sharon Sidbury had the first block punt.
Yes, sir.
And he has really stepped up for you on special teams, a youngster.
Yeah, he's only ninth grade, man. I'm proud of the effort that he's been given and, the role that he stepped up into. We got a lot of guys kind of out right now, and, he's been forced into it, kind of thrown him into the fire a little bit, but he's taken to it very nicely, and just proud of the effort that he's been given. And once again, there's Trayvon and there's Justin Billingsley there. Scooping that ball up, man. That was a hell of a catch right there.
How much of a game plan do you change kind of when you go through 2 days of playing against the same team?
Well, it's got to be small. The kids can only grasp so much, so you kind of give them little tidbits. Earlier on, there was an adjustment that we had made that they had scored a touchdown on, and the kids did a great job of executing. Defensively, we only made 2 adjustments in our packages, and then offensively, we just kind of had to show up some blocking assignments and things like that. We weren't coming off and getting the right guy. We were staying attached a little too long, and we got those things corrected, and it helped us out in the second half. And then there's Jemias Beckett, man. We call him an F-150, man. He's a truck. He's a monster, man. So whenever he gets that ball in his hands, he's tough to stop.
Great seam up the middle there, and he just hit the hole, and
Yeah, he
see you
did.
later.
He's very quick, man. He's a big body kid, thick guy, but he can move, man, when he wants to. So.
Well, you've played your last 2 games on the road. You finish up this grueling 3-game road trip. You've already traveled probably about 1,000 miles here in the last 2 weeks altogether.
Yes,
Head out to East Bladen this week, coming off a victory. We kind of talked a little bit about, getting that first win and, understanding what it feels like. So hopefully building, obviously, this week.
Oh, absolutely, man. That was the biggest thing, man. Just trying to get that win column and get that feeling of victory and just getting that taste. And that's the mental side of the game. That we got a great football team, but sometimes when you play those tough teams and you come out on the bottom end, it kind of gets to you a little bit mentally. But we got a great football team and looking forward to the challenge against East Duplin.
The Laney Buccaneers coming off their first victory of the season, building some confidence heading through the week of practice with their final road game of the non-conference schedule before they get into league play in just a couple of weeks. Second-year Laney coach Ashad Yeoman here on the Sports Roundtable. Coach Yeoman, good to talk to you, sir. We'll see you next week.
Thank you for having me.
Take a quick break. We'll catch up with Hoggard coach Craig Underwood following the Vikings setback to Charlotte Christian right after this. Welcome back to the Sports Roundtable, our weekly look at high school football across New Hanover County. We appreciate our past guests for joining us earlier in the show. We'll get to Hoggard football next. The Vikings went out to the Queen City this past week and played a tough Charlotte Christian team. Were in the game until, in the fourth quarter, really, just unable to put the finishing touches on what would have been a great win on the road. Coach Craig Underwood, first-year coach for the Vikings, joining us now. And, Coach, maybe just some thoughts before we get to the highlights on a tough game played against Charlotte Christian.
It was a tough game, and we intentionally set up a pretty tough schedule this year to help prepare for that conference push. This was, we challenged the kids beginning of the week. This is a real test of team maturity, handling a bus ride that long. Right. Really a full day trip, and we kind of challenged a business trip type of mentality. We were a little slow getting off the bus. We got ourselves in a hole. Felt like we responded really well from there, battled back into the game, but just couldn't finish there at the end.
You get another good effort from your kicker, Caleb Kuhn, knocks in a 40-yarder. You get a punt block there to help you get a touchdown. So some things coming together as we start to look at some of the highlights from last week.
Right, yeah, I feel like our special teams game is really coming around. We've always been pretty solid there, and a couple of mistakes in the first week, so I was pleased with the way our special teams executed. Here we go, just defensively. Seeing a great push. Our defensive line and linebackers have felt like really had one of their best performances of the year. Here you see Carson Whittaker come through with an inside block. Just a great effort play. We really sell. These are want-to plays. If you want it bad enough, a lot of times it's there in terms of blocking kicks and things like that. Here you see us in a heavier set offensively. We were able to move the ball pretty well all night. I was pleased. With the way, you see here, nice gaping hole opened up by our O-line. Again, things are coming together. We've got to get better at finishing drives. Obviously, that's going to be a huge point of emphasis this week in practice. Here we go again. It's Josh Jones to Evan Allegray. This is Allegray's first game back on the field, first game this season. So he's a big weapon for us, and he's been out all year. So hopefully that's going to help our offensive production continue to pick up. Again, a little bootleg from Brian Sasser there. Great catch by Patrick Morrison. Ball was tipped, actually, and Patrick just great focus, finishing the catch. Big first down there. There we go. Tony Allen just creasing up the middle. Again, just nice job. Chris Scialis, Labib Ishmael, those guys opening holes inside. Here you can see the 40-yarder. Caleb, I tell you, he's really coming to a zone with his field goals. He's got great confidence right now. Great snap operation. Matt Skinmazik's our long snapper and doing a really good job there. Here we go. Forcing a punt, so good defensive stop. Again, we've struggled at this point punching the ball in, so this is a huge just momentum play. Omar Jones coming unblocked. One of those plays drive you crazy because it seemed like it took forever for us to scoop it. But Ricardo Bennett, first-year player actually, has come out and and scoop that thing in the end zone. So big play, touchdown there for us on special teams. Here we go again, back on the offense. This is right after we actually got it. Traquan Williams got a nice interception. So we've had a punt block followed by an interception. So we got a little momentum going here. Again, we just got to be able to finish.
Great sideline catch right there, too.
Yeah. That was Colin Hare. He does an outstanding job. This is actually Traquan's interception right here, I believe. You see a good pass rush, kind of sets it up. Okay, just kidding. This is a sack for us.
You see so much film, Coach.
Yeah. I tell you, again, the D-line penetration this game, though, was just I was extremely pleased. There's Mackenzie Frazier, Antonio Moore, William Dykes, Omar Jones, Dante Bryant. I mean, we've got about 7 guys that we're able to rotate through right now, and that's really given us a chance to make some serious plays. Daniel Brunson has converted from linebacker to a little bit of nose guard and really giving us a great rush. There you see him getting hit again. Traquan Williams breaking up the ball.
You attribute that to getting some healthy guys back on that defensive line.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. I mean, the whole second half, we challenged them. I told them, if you're not getting out of your stance, you're off. We got enough guys. You're coming off the field if you're not getting out. And they bought in. I mean, they didn't want to come off that field. So they were attacking. I mean, really attacking. And, other than we turned the ball over inside the 5-yard line to set up their final touchdown. Outside of that, we had a shutout in the second half. So
and that's kind of been a bit of a reoccurring theme, I guess, being able to move the ball through, in between the 20s, I guess, but just unable to finish off on some drives.
And that's been a big focus. Coach Dylan Demick, our offense coordinator, he does an outstanding job, puts in countless hours working. So it's obviously a point of focus that we are emphasizing this week.
Well, kind of putting last week's game behind you, I guess, obviously, and looking forward to a good matchup against the Clinton Dark Horses coming up on Friday at Scott Braswell Stadium. I know you've probably looked a little bit ahead to what they're going to test you with coming up on Friday. Maybe just some thoughts on what you're going to need to do to pick up a victory.
I'll tell you, it's all about stopping the run. I'll tell you, they are a fantastic offense, very talented backfield. T formation, which we don't see a lot of in 4A football. So, it's going to be a different challenge for our defense. But I think the kids are going to be excited about defending and answering the bell against a very talented backfield. And then offensively, it's just, let's get better at what we do. Let's get better at what we do and let's finish drives, score some points.
The Hoggard Vikings looking to get back in the win column, coming off the setback to Charlotte Christian. Home game coming up against the Clinton Dark Horses come Friday night at Scott Braswell Stadium on Shipyard Boulevard. Coach Craig Underwood, first-year coach. Man, I'm getting all mixed up here on which coaches are coaching where. But first-year coach Craig Underwood with us here on the Sports Roundtable. Always good catching up with the coach.
Thank you. You as well.
All right, we'll take a quick break and we'll wrap the show up with the Ashley Screaming Eagles. A look at the Ashley football team and their home game coming up against Westover. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Sports Roundtable, our weekly look at high school football across New Hanover County. Joining us for our last segment this evening, the Ashley Screaming Eagles, joining first-year coach Jeff Turner, quarterback Caleb Parker, defensive end, tight end DC Russ, kind of does it all on both sides of the ball for the Screaming Eagles this year. Coach, we'll start with you, I guess. Coming off the bye week, still trying to get some guys healthy, setting up for a good matchup against Westover come Friday night.
Absolutely. We had a good week of practice last week. I think the kids are really ready to roll starting today. Monday, get Monday through Thursday in. We're upbeat. Our attitude's good. We have a lot of faith and work ethic. So we're working hard and we haven't stopped. And hopefully we can get guys healthy. Have a great week of practice. Westover's really talented. So their running back is 850 yards rushing in 3 games. Got a good quarterback, got a lot of athletic kids, but I feel like we've worked real hard this weekend, getting a good game plan, and I believe we're going to have a good week of practice, and we'll start there and look forward to Friday night.
We'll go to Caleb Parker, quarterback for the Screaming Eagles. Caleb, you've struggled a little bit this season to start, a couple of tough losses on the road. But with that said, you're under a new coach this year, and how has that whole process been since summer workouts, really?
I think it's good. I think Coach Turner's really been emphasizing hard work and just being all in, and I think that's really been a big change from what we've been used to. So I think it's really working. I think we just have to finish games. We got to finish strong. That's what we really need to work on.
Well, DC, I guess we can go build off that a little bit. You know, you're playing on both sides of the ball, as are some of your teammates, so obviously probably nice and tired after a Friday night football game. But with that said, you've shown the Ashley football team has shown some signs of improvement as the season has progressed. And how do you build that into, you know, hopefully your first victory of the season come Friday?
For sure. We've definitely been like working hard, getting better and stuff every day. It's just little things, little mistakes we make every game. It's things we got to correct. Like once we make those, we'll be straight. We'll be good.
Caleb, I know it's got to be tough on you guys, you know, and just not able to get in that win column just yet, dealing with some injuries, dealing with some other things, the new coach, the whole transition into, you know, what Ashley football is going to be about in the future and kind of laying that groundwork. How has the confidence and, you know, just the overall attitude of the program been, you know, despite some of the setbacks you've had this year?
I think we've been really confident. Every game we go into, we always have the mindset that we can go out there and win. It's not a matter of mindset. It's just, like DC was saying, a lot of small mistakes that we have to correct. But the transition's been really smooth. Coach Turner has really helped out with that. And, yeah, it's been pretty good.
Well, DC, how do you, you know, how do you secure up those little small things that are going to ultimately, you know, pay those dividends late in games and, you know, get you in that win column?
I think we need a little bit more focus. You know, we got to focus a little bit more before the game, and of course throughout the whole game instead of just for a quarter or two.
Coach, you know, you need to sustain that focus as well for a full football game through all 4 quarters. How do you get these guys to see kind of the light at the end of the tunnel, knowing that this hard work is going to pay off at some point?
Well, you know, it's a process, and it seems like, you know, every game, and you go back through the 3 games, which seems like about 6 games, but because, you know, we played each game like twice, it seems like, from weather delays. But you know, we're right there, and I'm not a big person on moral victory and stuff, and I told you that, but they could have gone either way. And, you know, the competitiveness and being right there for each of those games is really encouraging in that respect. And we just need to figure out a way to get over the hump and take care of that and get into that mode where we can finish into that fourth quarter. But the process compared to where it's been, it's moving forward. It is, and as frustrating it is for me, very frustrating. I've relayed that, told that to the kids, and I think that the team understands. They're trying real hard, and we just need some things to sort of pop our way and try to figure this one out Friday night.
Well, I think that's, you know, the course of any program is that, you know, understanding that, you know, things do need to happen. You know, you do need to be lucky as well as be good to order to win some games once in a while, and maybe one of those things falls your way here or there at the end of a ball game and that changes the outcome.
Yeah, I believe that the best is yet to come. I really believe it. We've fell on some hard, you know, between the blowouts and weather and driving back 2 hours, up 2 hours, back 4 hours, and no excuse, but I'm looking forward to the future. We got a beautiful week, you know, fall weather's coming up, and we have the opportunity to really try to finish, you know, not only in the fourth quarter, but finish this season the right way.
But with that said, the Ashley Screaming Eagles, first-year coach Jeff Turner, quarterback Caleb Parker, defensive end, tight end DC Russ, joining us here on the Sports Roundtable. We appreciate you guys stopping by.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good luck to the Screaming Eagles this week as they play at home in Monkey Junction, a 7:30 kickoff against Westover. We appreciate all the guests for stopping by today as we continue our weekly look at New Hanover High School football across the county each and every week right here on the Sports Roundtable. For everyone at New Hanover County Schools TV, I'm Joe Katz. Until next time.